Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Special song as we enter.
There's no solution. Everything depends on execution. Putting it together, that's what counts.
Ounce by ounce, putting it together. Small amounts, adding up to make a work of art. First of all, you need a good foundation. Otherwise, it's risky from the start. Takes a lot of earnest conversation.
But without the proper preparation,
having just the vision's no solution.
Everything depends on execution.
The art of making art is putting it together,
bit by bit,
note by note, working on projection. Lips, teeth, throat, looking for a moment to inhale. Keeping the emotional connection, even when your fellow actors fail.
Pointing out the subtext by inflection.
helping a director reach perfection.
Even though you have a strong objection to the way she's handling the direction. Art isn't easy. Every minor detail is a major decision. Have to keep things in scale, have to hold to your vision. Even when you're feeling apprehensive, that you're looking bland and inoffensive.
And you wish your wardrobe was extensive.
Forget that spangles are expensive.
The light, love. A little to the right, love. It isn't very bright, love. And must it be so tight, love? He does that every night.
Beat by beat, losing inhibition.
Head, hands, feet, trying to relax but not too much.
Trying to lay out the exposition, but without exposing it as such.
Trying to perform but not audition. Trying to establish recognition. Trying to persuade the electrician that he should destroy the competition.
Bit by bit, we're putting it together right here this afternoon. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome. My name's Naomi. I'm one of the founders of Lab Shul, and I'm just beyond honored to be one little piece of putting it together. And here we are in this afternoon moment. I know there's a lot of like nervous jitters, and there's a lot of tingly feelings of just excitement for those of you who have come to celebrate and to honor and to witness, and also to just take a pause in the middle of the afternoon for what we like to call soul spa. Let your soul be in a spa moment with this beautiful mincha afternoon gift offering to you, to each other, to yourself, to your soul. So before we get started, I'd like to invite my friend and colleague, Sarah Sokolic, the Executive Director of Lab Shul, to say a couple of welcome words.
Thank you, Naomi. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It is my honor to welcome everyone to Saturday Soul Spa and the closing ritual for Generate Cohort 2. I thought it might be nice just for a quick second to share a little bit of the origin story about Generate that I'm not sure everybody knows, but it's good to sort of go back to the roots when we're in moments of celebration. The concept for Generate officially began in 2018, but there were a number of years of discussions about how to meet the needs of boomers eldering and entering the next chapter of their lives. And it was 2018 when Amichai and Stuart and Renee came together. We co-authored the very first grant application to UJA in support of then an unnamed program. And so Thankfully, we began in 2019. Our first cohort of Generate kicked off in person, and I actually want to acknowledge I'm seeing around the screen so many members of Generate Cohort 1 who have come today to witness and celebrate Cohort 2. It's really, really beautiful. Cohort 1, was challenged by COVID, and but yet successfully pivoted to Zoom, continued on in their journey, and we of course gathered so many learnings from Cohort 1, which you will see in the fruits of the labor of Cohort 2, and we are beginning to even think about what the future can look like. I have not been a part of the day-to-day of what's been going on with Cohort 2, but I do meet with Janie every single Friday to talk about Generate, ensure that the program is moving smoothly, that everyone has the support they need from what we like to call LabShul HQ. And it's just been really gratifying to witness this journey from a bit of a distance. I'm so honored to be here today. I'm so grateful for everyone's contributions, from the participants who really jumped in with so much trust and vulnerability, to the peer facilitators, Stuart and Renee, who have been thought leaders and partners since the very beginning. And of course, to Rami and Naomi and Rabbi Noam, Rabbi Amichai, and especially to Janie for her committed and diligent work day after day, now year after year. And of course, to our friends and partners at the Covenant Foundation who are really championing Generate Cohort 2 this year. We've got lots of plans for the future, as I said, but for now, I'll just pause and say Mazal Tov and Shabbat Shalom. Back to you, Naomi.
Shabbat Shalom, Sarah. Thank you so much. I just want to pause for Oz for you as well too. Your vision for so many years and iterations of programmatic development for this organization, and also storytelling before it, has enabled us to be in the place that we are. So allowing some of that light to shine back on you. Friends, it is Shabbat afternoon. It's that magical hour, and I want to invite us to, in all that is happening in the world, this is a soul fuel station. And there is a lot happening right now. Our thoughts cannot leave, even for a moment, our siblings in the Ukraine who are fighting for their very lives and existence right now. And so I'm a firm believer that when you generate, I did not even mean to use the word generate, but when you bring together souls that are focused inward, it brings together that energy in sort of a vortex that then can be shined back out. So when there is a lot of love and a lot of energy around peace that's coming into a circle, that we can refract that back out into the world too. So I'm going to utilize my talit for this moment right here in the afternoon to give myself a hug and a love of resilience and peace and compassion for the never-ending work of peace work in the world, to take a moment for myself to then be able to be of service to others. So I invite you, Amichai always has this little yoga move that he does. However you want to wrap yourself, whether it's your two hands or whether you have a shawl or a scarf or anything, to give yourself that hug. And I like to go both ways to, kind of really stretch out. Oh, all that we're carrying on our shoulders, all that stress and sadness, and just bring yourself in, have a moment for just a couple of breaths. Maybe even bring in an intention for our time together this afternoon. And as we take a moment within ourselves, we also acknowledge that so many faces are here too. And at LabShul, we're online, we're Zoom, but we're pop-up by design, as you'll hear later in our Tales of the Mishkan. And so we don't have a threshold that we cross, that oftentimes people will kiss a mezuzah when they cross a threshold. So the threshold here is us across these Zoom screens. So I invite you to give an air kiss to everybody here. Maybe, look at somebody in the eye and know that we're crossing a threshold right now into a space of just an exhale, just for the moment, and a moment of celebration as we enter this month of Adar, Bet, the second Adar, which is really the first Adar, but that's a tale for another time. Knowing that there is both joy and grief in this month. There is redemption and there is a massacre in the story of Purim. So there's a lot of relief and there's also a lot of shame of not doing more in the world, and what else can we do to bring more joy and more peace. So we hold all of that as we enter into Adar and continue to exhale. We'll begin to sing the words that allow us to sit with all of it, as Rami Afal, our teacher, will guide us into in just a moment. Ashrei Yoshvei Veitecha Od Yahalelucha Od Yahalelucha.
Naomi, could you pluck some of these strings a little bit more? Ashrei Yoshvei Beitecha Od Yahalelucha Od Yahalelucha. Thank you, Naomi, for leading us so gently, so softly into this simplicity. My name is Rami Avraham Efal, and I'm one of the rabbinic fellows in Lab Shul, and I've had the honor and pleasure of being taught by some of the teachers that you'll hear from today. And together, we worked together for the first half of the program in setting the tone, seeding different qualities, leveling the ground as we dived deeper into what is it, this journey that we got on. And in a way, the next few minutes that I'll ask you to join me is we're going to do the same. We're going to set the ground for the teachings, the love, from our friends and our family, and from our ancestors here. So first, we have to start from what we got. We can't start anywhere else. I invite you to close your eyes if you feel safe and comfortable doing that. If not, feel free to keep them open. And just notice your body. And throughout the next couple of hours, we will hear so many words relating to temple and Mishkan, and this is where we can always come back to. This is our point of reference, the baseline. Noticing the breath rising and falling. Noticing the heart with anticipation or anxiety or tenderness. Bearing witness to all of that. Noticing that some of us have different roles. Some of us have roles in this event for the next 2 hours. Some of us have different roles. Some of us have different responsibilities outside of this call. So with each breath, I invite you to ask them to step away from the center of the Mishkan, but still bear witness to it. Our body is always bearing witness, regardless of our feelings. It embodies those feelings. We don't need to think about what we need to do. This is what to be present is. And one of the teachings that we'll hear today is that Ruach HaKodesh needs to descend into a Mishkan, and this Mishkan needs to be emptied out. So let's just take a few breaths. And with each breath, let this presence and this, like a blanket, this Ruach HaKodesh, this infinite mystery, descend into our bodies with simplicity. Just as it is. Ashrei Yoshvei Beitecha, how pleasant, how good it is to be in this home, in this body. Just appreciate this moment of Shabbat, moment of simplicity. The following line in the Ashrei prayer is Dor ledor yishavach ma'asecha, v'gvuratecha yagidu. Generation to generation we will speak of this mystery. And this is what we gathered here to do. And soon we will hear our generations speak of the teachings. So while keeping this heichal, this hall, this mishkan, as empty and present as you can, and bearing witness to all of it from the perimeter with your awareness, I invite you to invite your own generations, your own ancestors, immediate ancestors, those that you know by name, those that you know by face, and also those that only your imagination can conjure. You don't know their names. You don't know where they are, but they are your ancestors. So I invite you to bear witness to this Mishkan of your body with you. To this veil of simplicity in the center of this body. And I invite you to, if your eyes are closed, to open your eyes. You can do it slowly, however it feels comfortable to you. And just acknowledge the possibilities of all of the faces before you. and all of the intricate lines of ancestors beaming from each one of the Zoom boxes. What a miracle. So we're setting the ground. We have conjured our witnesses, our ancestors. And we are that first line, the closest line to this Mishkan. And it's with us. So let's take a deep breath together. And appreciate.
Oh, love, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Ve'asuli mikdash ve'shachanti betocham ve'asuli mikdash ve'shachanti betocham.
Hello, everyone. Excuse me. It's so good to have you all with us. I am a biblical ass, a donkey in modern parlance. It might be strange to have a talking donkey, but I play a major role helping the Israelite community. I am an animal with vision and insight. Today's story is the building of the Mishkan, the tabernacle, when the Israelites are in the wilderness. Let me set the scene. We have left Egypt. We are still wandering. Moses has received very specific instructions to build a Mishkan, a tabernacle. What's the tabernacle? I'll tell you. A mobile sanctuary, like a bookmobile. An artist-driven pop-up Mishkan, from the Hebrew root shochen, meaning a residence or dwelling place. Residence or dwelling place for what? For who? I wonder, for what or who might you folks out there want to build a dwelling place? What's that? I hear a grandmother and granddaughter arguing.
We
I see a large, unruly plant hanging around the perimeter like an outsider.
Now moving on from town to town.
Let me reflect. So what was the purpose of the tabernacle? What did it mean to the Israelites then? And what does it mean to the Jewish community today?
Friends and family, welcome to Generate Storytelling, where our second cohort has spent the past months learning the storytelling maven method to bring you the same old stories with a bit of twist, reclaiming one of the world's oldest rituals of sacred storytelling, the telling of Torah. What you're going to experience today is not your typical Torah service. The Torah service is not often regarded as the most exciting of our communal ceremonies, but that wasn't always the case and certainly won't be the case today.
When the telling of Torah premiered in Jerusalem 2,500 years ago, it was an engaging performance accompanied by live interpretive translation from Hebrew into the language of the day. This intricate art form was conducted by the maven, the local storyteller. Today, we have a whole family of mavens performing a translation written by us, the second Generate cohort. Though this tradition disappeared from synagogue life about 1,000 years ago, it is being revived right here, right now, today. Scripture becomes our script, the synagogue our theater, and the bima, this stage, becomes Mount Sinai, the place where our story began.
Soon the curtain will open and the sacred scroll will roll. So please sit up, fasten your seatbelts, close any distracting windows on your computer, click on that do not disturb setting of your phone, and tune in to this week's installment of the longest running rerun, the world's bestseller, The Torah.
Live from Sinai and live from your Zoom room, we bring you the Mishkan, here, there, everywhere, Parshat Pekudei. Please rise in your soul and body as you desire and open your hearts to Torah, wisdom, and learning.
Wow. My heart is already open. Oh, a biblical ass opening up our storytelling today. Friends, we don't have a physical ark here, so I'll ask you to remove some of those cobwebs, open up your chest cavity to the true Torah, the true heart of your soul. So we open ourselves up to the wisdom that sometimes even a donkey can wake us up to discover. The words are Tiftach libi be'oraita, which literally means open your heart to oraita, the Torah. Torah we translate as wisdom. What wisdom might we discover today when we look into the ancient story as a mirror and reflection of our modern reality? Tiftach libi be'oraita, tiftach libi be'oraita, tiftach, 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 tiftach libi. V'tashlim, 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 v'shalim, delivai.
As Rabbi Noam prepares to chant the ancient words of Torah and our mavens translate the ancient story, we have the opportunity to find ourselves in this age-old Torah. The word aliyah means to ascend. In the synagogue, one would go up on the stage, the bima, and chant a blessing before and after the reading. We see this as an opportunity to step inside the story, to read yourself into it, and it into you. We are all stewards, story stewards, as Reverend Micah Busey teaches in his book of Tiny Prayers. Last year, our generates have been reviewing and stewarding their own stories. So for the honor of the Aliyah today, we invite any of you who, like our mavens, are story stewards, carrying and retelling ancient stories of your ancestors or loved ones. You can share those ancestors' names in the chat. And when you're ready, please rise in your hearts, your body, or whatever way you wish to rise. And you're invited to unmute and chant these words of blessing. Yamdu, calling up stewards of ancient stories for this Aliyah. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamavarach. Baruch Adonai Hamavarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch
Baruch Adonai Hamavarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Ruach Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Kohanim V'natamanu et Torah. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten Torah.
Hi, folks. Donkey here. Back in the desert, something's in the air. Let's listen in and observe, shall we? See what we learn.
ותחל כל עבודת משכן אוהל מועד, ויעשו בני ישראל ככל אשר ציווה אדוני את משה כן עשו.
Wow, the work is finally done. We did it. We completed all the work on the tabernacle, and we did it exactly as Moses told us, based upon God's specific instructions. What an accomplishment.
Look at them following blindly this guy Moses, who's following God's commandment. What asses? Sorry, donkey. What do I know? I'm only a wandering Jew.
Listening.
ויביאו את המשכן אל משה את האוהל ואת כל כליו, כרסיו כראשיו, בריחיו ועמודיו ואדניו.
Granddaughter, are you seeing this? Look what they're doing over there. They're schlepping furniture, clasps, boards, bars, pillars, and even sockets. All of it made from our contributions. See my emerald on the breastplate? And that's Mrs. Abramowitz's blue, purple, and crimson yarn, now part of Aaron, the priestly robe. Between you and me, it's so exciting to see how much of our contributions were needed to make this happen. See how it takes a village to make these things happen?
I was happy that you were going to leave me your emerald. Now I have nothing to remember you by after you're gone.
Look at her boasting for her part in this. I wasn't even asked. There's nothing here that's mine. They didn't include me.
I'm standing here listening to all of them. Some feel included, some don't care, and some feel left out.
Bechol asher tziva Adonai et Moshe, ken asu b'nei Yisrael et kol ha'avodah.
Did you hear me, Bubala? We, the Israelites, did all the work exactly as God told Moses.
I heard you. So what? I don't want to stay in the desert. What's the point of all this? Why do we even need it?
Is there no place for me? Is God's plan so rigid we can't add something to it? I have much to give that wasn't even on the list. I add color, I add beauty, I add purification of the air. I'm needed too.
I guess that old adage is true. You ask 3 Jews and you get at least 6 opinions.
Vayar Moshe et kol ha'malacha, v'hinei asu ota, ka'asher tziva Adonai ken asu, v'yavarech otam Moshe.
Look how pleased Moses is that we performed all the tasks as God commanded. I'm so excited about the blessing Moses is going to give us.
I didn't even want a part in this. Will the blessing still include me?
Since I didn't contribute to the effort, will the blessing still include me?
Sounds like the 3 children from the Passover Seder. Am I right?
And Moses blessed them, one and all. Listen to his song.
Shabbos, 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 Shabbos. Zol zayin Yidin Shabbos.
Shabbos soll sein, Shabbos soll sein, Shabbos auf der ganzen Welt.
Sholem, 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 Sholem. Zol zayin Yidin Sholem.
Sholem soll sein, Sholem soll sein, Sholem auf der ganzen Welt. Ya ba 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 bam 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 bam. Ya ba 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 bam 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 bam. Ya ba 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 bam 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 bam. Ya ba 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 bam 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 bam.
Thanks to all of you. Oh, excuse me. Thanks to all of you who steward the stories of your ancestors, ancient and recent. May you find meaning in these stories and share it out with all who listen to help heal the world. Let's unmute and share this final blessing together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natananu Torah et chayei olam v'tovleinu Baruch atah Adonai Noten haTorah.
Wow, what a sight to behold. It seems like most of the Israelites contributed from their hearts and talents and treasured possessions and worked together to create this gorgeous, holy community place. Dare we say, a place of blessing.
I still don't get it. I don't know what my Bubba is so excited about. I can't see it. And there's a cloud in the way. I just don't feel connected the way my grandma does.
We can't hear you, Wandering Jew.
Yeah, I'm always on the outside looking in. I wasn't included. I don't see myself in it. How can you say it's for everybody?
How can you say it's for everybody?
How can we say it's for everybody? Friends, as we listen to this new twist on an ancient story, our tradition invites us to know that all of us, Jewish and everybody, plant and donkey and human, we were all there too. What do we already know about belonging to something that's bigger than ourselves? And what more might we learn together? If you can think of a time when you were in a place or group, and from the outside, others would have said you belong there. But on the inside, others would, on the inside, you didn't feel it. Raise your hand if you can relate.
Yeah, it's a common feeling. So now let's take a little bit bigger breaths together and remember what it's like when we feel like we do belong. When you do have a sense of being included and welcomed and a valued part of something. Feel what it's like in your body. Feel what it's like in your muscles, in your bones, in your breathing. Feel what it's like in your face when you feel like you're in a place where you belong. And notice what comes up as you ask yourself, what do I need? What do I want in order to feel like I belong somewhere? To feel like I'm on the inside of the circle, to feel like I'm connected to infinite mystery, as Rami called it. So, in our time together right here and right now, we're actually building our own mini Mishkan, our own portable dwelling place for holy community. So as part of the construction process, we'd like to put your gifts together by inviting you into small breakout groups for about 6 minutes. So you'll receive an invitation to join a breakout group. And while you are there, please go ahead and greet each other, connect in the expert ways you already know how, and share a little bit about what helps you feel included. What qualities and conditions, what attitudes from others and from yourself, what actions and behaviors help you to feel connected. You might use the prompt, I feel included when. So the prompt is in the chat. We wish you lovely conversations with each other, and we'll look forward to hearing what comes up.
you're not able to move into a breakout group, just go ahead and raise your hand so we can see you visually, or put it into the chat, and we're happy to move you into one humanually.
Christine.
Checking in, Gail, if you want to be, hi Lorraine, if you want to be Gail and Lorraine, and Aura, if you want to be in a breakout group, just go ahead and unmute and we can try to move you into one.
Naomi, did we want to pause the recording at this moment?
Please do, thank you.
And include.
Yeah, just repeat all that again, Rena.
That even for me, that idea of being included and including others, I'm a very visual person. So people may say it's in the chat, but Christy and I thought sometimes seeing things includes more people and reminds. And so helps.
I'm thinking about just when I walk into a room and like that immediate, I mean, I travel a lot, I go to a lot of different communities to perform or lead ritual or artists in residences, and the places where I have like walked in, you're inviting me to reflect on sort of when I walk in, there's always like immediately I know or immediately I don't know, like I'm like wondering, am I going to be included here? And then there are places where like it's immediate. And I think oftentimes it's, somebody sees somebody new walking in and there is a lightness in maybe their eyes, or maybe they stand up, like they pause what they're doing, oh, there's a new person here, welcome, kind of Abraham running out of the tent, sort of in the modern day Abraham, like running out to meet you in the tent, versus the places like, I've gone to some camps, let's say, where it's like, I could be like a mass murderer walking into the camp and nobody would even give me a second glance. So, I mean, I hope that wouldn't happen, obviously, but there's definitely a feeling of like the pausing for a shifting of their universe where somebody new walks in, and how do you deal with that new agent that comes into the chemistry, right? Thank you for inviting me to kind of reflect on that, Rena.
I love that image of Abraham welcoming, and that's, I don't know if it's part of the story, if I just read it somewhere else, but how he'd keep all the sides of his tent open because he didn't want to miss anybody. So it's like the embodiment of welcoming at any moment.
I also feel included when I can bring all of the me's, all of the different Rami. So I can bring Rami, and I can bring Avraham, and I can bring Mukyu, and I can bring all my different names that I accumulated in my life, and show up and know that I have some freedom to show up in different ways, right? That I'm not fixed in one way.
All your different names. I love that.
And I'm not even raising my hand, I'm waving to include people because I see people coming.
Hey, Naomi.
Welcome back to the room. Feel included when. Ronald, should people put it in the chat?
That's a great idea. As we share. And again, if anybody wants to raise their hand virtually to give us an answer to I feel included when, you can put it in the chat or put your hand up, because we had a great discussion in our group. And people shared simple gestures, eye contact, even remembering something that someone told you, a little detail. So we would love to hear from anyone who can tell us what makes them feel included. And help me, everyone, to see hands out there or something in the chat, Christy. And anyone.
Pamela says, I feel included when I include myself.
Beautiful. To put my
Name
glasses on.
tags, Mirla says. Name tags, I like that too. Roxanne says, when planning refreshments, consider what older people can manage. Roxanne, do you want to say more about that, maybe?
And please, if you're going to speak, don't forget to unmute so we can hear you.
I don't know if Mirala, who brought that up, wants to say more about it or not.
I brought it up. I went to shul this morning, and after the pandemic, instead of a whole lunch with lots of different things to eat, all there was bagels, and I'm having dental work and I have trouble eating a bagel. I thought that's not very inclusive.
Thank you for that. And, you know, thinking of others, it's part of including them. And I'm just looking to see anything else, Christy?
Yeah, wonderful. Joan says, when people invite me personally to events like this and Soul Spa. And Gary said, in my room, I heard, I feel included when I feel safe. Powerful.
Even though it was on Zoom, I felt very included with our whole Generate group when we were together. Of course, it would have been better in person, but we created a spiritual space amongst us that was very treasured.
In my group, we talked about how getting out of our heads, out of the feeling like we don't belong. Actually, a lot of people feel that way. And as the decades go on, your mind expands a little bit. I would love someone in our group to share a little bit more, but it was a very rich conversation. I don't know if Emma or Liz, you want to share?
I can share. I was just reflecting on like that feeling, that image of, from the outside it looks like you belong, but from somebody else's point of view, but like inside you're not feeling like you belong, and how you know, just sometimes we're just so in our heads and so focused on our own experience that's what's keeping us from, that's the barrier to feeling connected. And that all these things that people shared about eye contact and a hug or a smile or, you know, name tags, and those things really help feel connected. But I think it sort of helps feel connected because it gets you out of your head, out of you being focused on your perspective. And I think the other practical thing that I mentioned was I just always like a group moment of silence, or a group, you know, syncing up a breath or something that sort of feels like it helps. But to me, it's the process of getting out from like me being, they try to expand my awareness to beyond just like my tunnel vision of like, oh, I'm here in my own little world and I don't connect. Like it's like bring the energy down into the body as opposed to just in the mental.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for all the shares.
I'm seeing Lorraine's hand is up in the Zoom fashion.
Let's have one more then.
Because I gotta turn my phone off. I'm trying this on 2 different ways. Because Lab Jewel holds events on Zoom and continues to hold them on Zoom. And I've noticed a few Jewish organizations, Lab Jewel among them, has stricter rules than anyone else when getting together for safety for those of us who might be at risk from COVID. And that makes me
Thanks,
feel
Lorraine.
both those feel
Sorry,
wonderful and inclusive.
your sound's reverberating a bit, but thank you so much. Thank you.
And that you acknowledge and appreciate the effort to make you feel included is wonderful. So thank you everyone for your work in your groups and for what we were able to hear now.
Now you need to unmute again.
No, thank you, by the way. So we were all there at the time of the ancient story. And that ancient story is also with us in modern times, right here, right now. As we look around today, what are some of our modern day mishkans, tabernacles, where people find connections to community or to a place, to something bigger than themselves? We invite you now to type those into the chat while Christy shares.
Yeah, so your observations of current kind of mishkans that you can think of, please type those in. And then our question for you now is like, what more can our modern tabernacles be? And what's needed? What's needed from me? What's needed from each of us to expand our willingness and radically expand our circles of belonging to include even those who we think aren't contributing enough, or those we deeply disagree with, those we don't understand, those we don't even notice, those we ignore. And what are the stakes if we don't expand our circles of belonging? You know, so our Generate cohort is a group of olds, as my sons would say. And so we have some urgency around this topic and these questions. And no matter what generation you're in, we'd love to hear some of your thoughts, few thoughts on how we can expand our circles of belonging.
And to just keep everybody's time, important timing in mind, we only have time for 1 or 2 thoughts, either in the chat or if somebody wants to tell us what they think their modern tabernacle is, we can take a moment. Okay.
These are big questions that we're not going to solve right now.
Well,
Pick one.
I've spoken, but you know, the obvious answer is to be more inclusive of people who are not like us, whether it's a matter of people of a different color or ethnic group or language group or gender orientation or whatever. Especially those of us who have lived a long time get very stuck in our ways, and we're educated in stuck ways. And so we have to make an effort to educate ourselves in new ways.
Do we have, I'm going to read one from the chat, and forgive me if I'm not including everyone. Mirele Goldsmith said, one of the most wonderful Mishkan experiences I ever had is at the Parliament of World Religions, where I was together with people of many faiths, all committed to interfaith understanding and learning from each other. Beautiful.
Did Renee want to say something?
I didn't know if there was
Renee, did you
time.
have your hand up?
If
Oh,
if
thank
there
you.
was time, I'll just say something very brief. I think in this world where we're now so interconnected technologically, that we actually can find multiple expansion if we follow our own, our own kind of interests and concerns and circles to connect with people that we never would otherwise. Just even comparing cohort 1 to cohort 2, since I've been, to have people from all over the country in this cohort, I'm looking at you, Christy, as one, is just so nourishing and would not have been possible before. So I think in a way we have opportunities for expansion if we gravitate to those centers, those places where there's a like mind or a new mind, as Roxanne was saying, openings.
That's wonderful. Thanks, Renee.
Okay, Christy, take it away.
Oh, well, thank you all. Thank you for listening and participating and sharing and about these tender things. Sometimes they're so close and intimate. So before we go back to our story, just a little inspiration from our beloved friend and teacher Rami's beloved mentor, international peace builder, Dr. Paula Green of blessed memory, a luminous elder who recently passed away. She was another builder of tabernacles. So she wrote, our survival depends on a significant portion of the human race accomplishing a change in worldview from one of patriotic and tribal loyalties to loyalty to life itself.
Okay, thank you very much. And now I think it's time to check in on the donkey to see what sense he's making of all this.
Why is it that often people are unable to see what is directly in front of them? I wish they could see what I see. The bigger picture. I guess all I can do is try to be a mirror for folks who are willing to look into it. Off to my next adventure.
Funny thing about that donkey, little later in the Torah, 2 books down, our donkey has the vision to see what his rider Balaam, a prophet hired to curse the Israelites, cannot see. He speaks and wakes Balaam up to the blessings of community, not the curses. But that's another story for another day. So, what did our donkey see in this story that some of the voices we heard from today may have missed?
Was it that the Mishkan was built for all of the people of Israel? Not only those who volunteered and gave their time and valuable belongings for the construction?
Was it that after the Mishkan was completed, Moses blessed all the people of Israel, the gift givers, those with nothing to give, those who chose not to give, and those who felt they weren't asked to give?
After all, Moses blessed the talented artisans, workers, and builders. He blessed the believers, skeptics, God-optional folk, and cloud lovers. Everyone there received the blessing.
Did the donkey see that there's room in the Mishkan for everyone? Perhaps the donkey saw all of the above. That when we come together as a cohesive community, when everybody feels invested or included, when we see, listen, bridge differences, embrace unlikely partnerships, and learn to work together to build something or to help someone. It is truly astonishing what we can and do create. Perhaps all we have to do is take that first step inside.
We leave you with an ancient interpretation of Moses' blessing to the community. May the divine presence rest upon the work of your hands.
Generate 2, deep exhale. You did it. Wow. Wow. I got to get myself off of this spotlight over here. I want to see everybody's faces and hands in celebration of the wow moment that just was. That definitely is deserving of a blessing. You're going to get a few in just a few moments. Oh, look at those smiles. Look at those faces. Oh, and as we still have this story, just the embers of this story are still burning, right? Just burning, burning, burning in our minds and our hearts right now. We'll take an opportunity for a blessing of healing. And it is my great delight and pleasure to say that safe and sound back into an apartment out of the car of a horrible traffic jam in Jerusalem is our very own dear Rabbi Amichai Lau-Levi, who, Amichai, will you bring blessing into this moment? I know there's so much going on, both joy and, as you would like to say, oi. You know, great excitement and also a lot of moments of healing as the Torah is still open. I'm handing off to you, my friend. Good to see you.
Thank you, Naomi. Shabbat Shalom, friends. Wherever you are in the world right now, here in Jerusalem, the Sabbath has left the building and a new week is beginning. There's a crescent moon up in the sky, and we are together inside the tabernacle of time, the tent of meeting that transcends space and time, but we are all included when we take it upon ourselves to show up and be present as we do today. Such a profound pleasure and a privilege to be with you all. It was very strange trying to zoom in a major traffic jam with a lot of anxious Israelis all around me. All of us with places to be and people on our minds, joys and challenges. And how could I tell them, people in the car with me, I have to get on the Zoom. This wonderful group of people. Generate Cohort 2 is co-creating the sacred story and ceremony of healing our lives by the power of coming together to form community and to be stewards of our sacred stories and create places where we all belong. On this day, on this Shabbat, for this rite of passage, this coming of age for every life stage, may our ancestors, the ones we mentioned here today, the ones living inside our DNA, the ones of all types of human and beyond human, may all the ancestors, including the donkeys, be with us now. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב ואימותינו, שרה, רבקה, רחל ולאה. May the ones who blessed our ancestors, the ones who are named and the ones who are not, the ones who are from our family trees and the ones who are from other trees, may all the ancestors who brought us to this moment bring blessing to our lives right now. May those of us who today are celebrating this wonderful achievement of spending this time together, becoming the elders of this community, the storytellers and the healers, the teachers, and the holders of the sacred. May your journey continue as community, as individuals, as family people, as teachers, as elders, with humor and wisdom, with patience and compassion. Keep on helping us find the way into the sacred tent of intent and intention. May the ancestors who are with us now and who brought us these stories help us tell new stories that celebrate life where everybody is included, where healing is a daily task, where wars are forgotten, where love is celebrated. At every stage, at every age, we all feel included, welcomed, and loved. May this community flourish to continue this journey of becoming. May this Shabbat bring so much joy and so much strength to all of us as we end this book of Exodus with the blessing of strength, begin a new month and a new book, and go on this journey together, now on Zoom, soon together inside an actual tent or building where we can hold hands. יהי רצון מלפנייך, מלפניכם, מלפניך, רוח העולם. רפואת גוף ורפואת נפש, רפואת עולם, רפואת shalom. May there be healing in the sacred essence of all being. May there be health and happiness and peace for all of us. Shabbat shalom.
Hmm. So with the prayer of healing woven with the blessing from Rabbi Amichai, the blessing, the empowerment, the healing, just take a moment to let all of that be mysterious in our bodies, just for a moment. It's in this mystery that new things come to light, creativity come to light, and boy, we saw a lot of creativity today. And we've also heard the call from Rabbi Amichai to meet the world in a new way, in an inspired way. And we heard the words of Dr. Paula Green inviting us to face a wide world. This is a world where we're so informed and we know what's going on everywhere on the planet. So a year ago, we all came together and we gathered the chieftains around Moshe. And This afternoon, we witnessed the chieftains. We learned from the chieftains. Sometimes we use the word elder, but really what it was is that seed, the wisdom and sagacity. I think that's the word. So this is a moment of deep, deep transmission that I'm feeling from our ancestors to all of you. And I invite you, the way that we enter the ceremony today, the ritual today, when we invited all of our ancestors. So I invite all of you, all the Mevinim, all the new Mevinim, to turn inward and turn to your ancestors and ask them what they want to be blessed with. You are the blessers. You are the empowered ones. And feel the audacity of your teachers and your ancestors to grant that. What does it feel like to bless? It could be a word or it could be a feeling. And I invite you now to extend that beyond your ancestors and beyond your future descendants to this entire world. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov. How good are your tents, and then tribes of all nations. May we all be blessed with kindness, tenderness, and awesome power. May we feel emboldened, playful, and loving. Ay, 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 we're holding so much charge from this Shabbat, from this ritual. And as we transition forward into the rest of our ritual and the rest of our day and the rest of our life, know that this connection is always, always, always here. How blessed. May you see yourself in the goodness of the Infinite Spirit, and may you see yourself as the goodness of the Infinite Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Amen, amen, amen. Generate Cohort 2. Welcome to Mavenhood. You are officially storytellers. Welcome to the wild, wacky world of story stewardship. Wow. And I know we're going to try to make you come front and center, but this is a moment of firsts. This is a moment of celebration. This is a moment, as Rami talked about, of really passing through a really liminal moment of passage into becoming these chieftains. I love that. Love that, Rami. Thank you for that. So we have a blessing, an ancient blessing, a little well-known tune called the Shehechianu. I see Pam is nodding. And I want to offer this to you, to sing this to you, but to have you sing along with me. We won't unmute because it'll be a little bit of a cacophony, but I wonder if we can see you all at the top of our screens. We see you. And perhaps maybe there's a little visual moment even inside yourself that you can actually see yourself walking into this next moment. All of what brought you, Shechianu, Vikimanu, what was foundational that brought you to this moment? Maybe there's a person that linked you to this moment. Maybe all of the teachers and ancestors, as Rami was inviting you to, that sustained you to be able to be here in this moment, as we like to say, right here, right now, today. So let's everybody join me in singing this for our beloved Generate Cohort 2. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Ruach haolam shehecheanu v'kiyemanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Ruach haolam shehecheanu v'kiyemanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Hands together, lie, 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 yeah, lie, 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 hi, lie, 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 lie. So we seal this story with a kiss, with open tent walls and invitations in, as we sing Eitz Chaim Hi together.
All the generates could smile right now. I'll get a nice screenshot of everyone on this.
Beautiful. All the generates.
Thank you. It's all about
Smile.
the paparazzi.
So Torah is a pathway to peace for all those who grab hold of those messages of inclusivity. Let's do this, shall we? So the generates are in the room. Our beloved friends and family are in the room. And the spirits of our ancestors that we have called in are in the room. And so we take a moment to honor those ancestors and to remember at this moment as we ready ourselves to recite the Mourner's Kaddish, that in this moment of joy, it's bittersweet because of those who we wish were here to experience this with us in body. But we know we're inviting their spirits, their souls into the space as well. I know that we have many folks here who are actually in a period of mourning right now. I want to acknowledge our beloved sister Karen Pratt, who just lost her mother just very recently, and many others here who join us for our virtual Kaddish call every week at noon, where we hold space for all who are really missing somebody in our lives and want to bring their memory to the forefront of their being. So I'll invite you, for anybody who is experiencing loss right now, wants to bring very specifically the name into our chat, to hold this circle, hold their space. And sorry, I was distracted by a chat, I apologize. To hold space for all who have lost a loved one. Please do share their name in the chat. Perhaps there's a way that they made you feel included in this life. And so in a moment, as we see all of these loved ones, we'll share the words of the Kaddish, ancient Aramaic words that allow us to step up and into a more existential place, considering life, mortality, but also a pathway to peace. So I invite you to rise, however your body and your spirit feels called to rise, as we lift these names and recite these words together. You're invited to unmute and bring your voice into the circle. Rima, just seeing your recent loss.
Why? It can be anything. It's not to be everything.
I invite you to say this with me. Yitkadal ve'alma divrach yamlich malchuteh v'chayechon uvchaye kol beit Yisrael ba'agala v'zman kariv imru.
Amen.
Shmei
Rabbah, Barach Leola Olam.
Barach Vishtabach Romam Vitnaseh Vikhadar Vit Ale Vit Halal Shmeid Kucha
Ichu.
Le'ela Birchata B'Shirata Nechemata Agila Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Chaim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel V'imru
Amen.
Seh Shalom B'Imroham Seh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel V'imru.
Amen.
Amen.
As I'm unable to type, I want to just add in two more names into our chat. Our beloved and just truly beloved intern, Martine Hauptman Duffy, lost her father, John Duffy, just unexpectedly 2 days ago. And also calling in the beloved mother of our own board vice chair, John Sylvan's stepmother, Abby. May all memories be blessing. May they be comforted, and may you be comforted in love. Oh, say shalom bimroma. Uya se shalom aleinu. יושבי תבל, ואמרו, ואמרו, אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. יה לה 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 לה, יה לה 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 לה, יה לה 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 לה, יה לה 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 לה, יה לה 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 לה, עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. היי, לה 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 לה, יה לה 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 לה, יה לה 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 לה, יה לה 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 לה, יה לה 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 לה, יה לה 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 לה, יה לה 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 לה, יה לה 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 לה, עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו, ואמרו אמן. ואמרו, may it be so for those also experiencing such loss in our beloved Ukraine. May all those lives lost and those who are mourning them be not in vain. May we send healing across the world. Ve'imru, ve'imru, Amen. Maybe so. Friends, this has been such an honor and a treat and a true journey, a fellow journey person with our Generate Cohort 2. We have some incredible things coming up really in the near future. There you go. Adar 2, Adar Bet brings in Purim. So we have a lot of amazing opportunities to tap in for Purim. We have a portal even on our website. If you just go to labshul.org, there will be a pop-up that will take you into a sacred Purim portal where you will see what is to be seen. We have a program called Taking It to the Streets on Purim Eve, just a short while away. Oh, live on Monday. Oh my goodness. And we also have an incredible event called Make Some Noise, which will be for kids of all ages. I believe, is there hamantashen making? I'm excited about that if there is. I'm sure there are gluten-free options for those. We see you, we love you, myself included. And always we have opportunities to tap into this wide open wall. The tent flaps are open for your hearts and homes in this tabernacle we call Lab Shul. We have a heart circle that is coming up, I believe on Tuesday. I'm so sorry. I don't have the date in front of me. I can't see it because of the way my screen is. And we also have every Thursday virtual Kaddish that you can call into at 12 p.m. Eastern. And every Monday at 3 o'clock, we have a soul spa, shorter, half hour, just like this, where you can refuel your soul in our Soul Fuel station and just take a time out of your day to connect with community, to meditate, to sing, and to just be, right? Just be. And we also have on the 18th coming up our Sabbath Queen, where we'll be honoring and noting that it is National Women's History Month, as well as National Disability Awareness Month. So we hope you'll join us both in person and online. In person, we'll be at the Manny Cantor Center. I believe you can register for that on our website as well, too. I also want to do some deep gratitudes. I see they're already coming in the chat, and our next slide has a whole list of the sacred technicians. We just literally want to pause for Oz here of how much it took. Every socket and dolphin skin and pole and tent flap it took to create this Mishkan today, this tabernacle. You can see your cast above here. And of course, towards the bottom, you'll see our incredible tech team for today. A huge thank you, doing double, triple overtime, to Jordana Gisser and to Sarah Sakalik. Behind the scenes, who you don't see today, is Ari Mantz, who was really instrumental in helping us behind the scenes. And of course, special thanks to our teachers, Rami and Amichai and Janie, and special thanks to the Covenant Foundation for making Generate actually possible. Special shout out to our advisors and peer advisors, Renee and Stuart, for all the work that you've done as well too. I believe I'm turning it over to Sarah. I'm ready for a L'chaim, aren't you?
Yes, I had to spotlight, unmute. I had to do all those things, and here I am with my beverage of toasting. I just want to add to one announcement that this coming Monday's Soul Spa is actually marking the exact 2-year anniversary of COVID and of shutting down, and the day that we went live with our daily Soul Spa for 450 consecutive days after. Naomi is leading that. I'll be there. It will be a special, it may go a little bit extended. So I invite everyone to join us on Monday, the 14th to mark the 2-year anniversary of COVID, or mark it, commemorate it, celebrate it in some way. Okay, can we get the slide for our Kiddush? Because it's good to look at the words and remember, and not just say it from memory. Please raise a glass with me. This is a toast to transformation. This is a toast to our generates. This is a toast to anyone going through any kind of transformation at the moment. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ruach haolam borei pri hagafen. A toast in the presence of the infinite. We savor the blessing of transformation, vine to wine.
Amen, amen, Sarah. And I know you have something some sort of bread in front of you, correct? Do you? Who's got a challah or a piece of bread? We need to see this.
I can get one if we have
Peter,
no one that has handy.
Peter.
Okay, good.
Peter, right in front of us. Moishe number 2. Moishe number 2 has some challah in front of us, because as we always said in our storytelling, oh, I don't want to be spotlit for this. I want the challah to be the spotlight. As we always said in our Generate storytelling sessions, which were festive and lively and just so, nourishing. Im ein kamach ein Torah. If there is no flour, if there's no sustenance here, there is no Torah, there is no wisdom. So Peter, hold that up high, and I'll invite all of our beautiful Generate cohort 2 to unmute, and let's say this blessing for sustenance and for every hand that helps to make Mishkanot, I believe, happen, all the tabernacles happen. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Baruch atah Adonai b'chaolam hamotzi
lechem haaretz.
Amen. We thank everyone
Amen.
for coming. We will pause right now just to take a bite, and then we're going to have some closing music for you all to dance and celebrate too. And we thank you all for coming, and Generate too. When we close the room, don't forget to come back to the Zoom room. Okay. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Take care.